Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Josh Galvin with Tizish.com, and on this quick video I want to talk about the following subject: WordPress.com versus WordPress.org. This is an area that a lot of people get confused when they think about WordPress and when they're told what is WordPress, and I'm going to answer it for you. This is basically a link. I'll include this link with this video, but I want to basically answer it in a simple way because it shouldn't be that confusing. And when you read this page, I'm going to go through each point, and when you read each point, you're going to see that it might not make sense. You might not get the "so what's the point" kind of feeling from it. So I want to explain to you guys just the main things that really matter for you with building your sites. Alright, so here, if you go to this link, I recommend you read this all. If you're thinking about getting a blog, where should you put it? WordPress.com versus WordPress.org. Here are the simple things realistically. What is WordPress.com? Let's go to it right now. WordPress.com is basically the free site, the free place that you can make a theme at. Oh, I'm sorry, make a blog at. See, here's WordPress.com. You can sign up and you have your own blog. Basically what ActiveRain does, what Blogger.com does, or what Blogger does with, through Google's blog service. It's basically the same thing. It's just a free blog system. If you sign up, let's say I sign up as Josh Galvin, then my domain name will be joshgalvin.wordpress.com. So I'm basically hosted on the WordPress.com server system. Now that's one of the things I'm going to mention in a little bit. Now the difference though, let's go to WordPress.org. The difference here is, you see, there is no sign up button. There is instead a download WordPress 3.1. There is no sign up. The difference between that in a basic sense and more in the mechanical infrastructure sense is that with WordPress.org, it's the same WordPress blog system as WordPress.com. The only difference is that this one requires you to host it on your own server. Or obviously, if you do it with a company like us at Tizish, we would host it on our server, but we would go to WordPress.org and use this system instead of building you a free one on WordPress.com. So in a core, simple nutshell, before we dive into the pros and cons of each, the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org is simply the matter of where is it hosted. Is it hosted on your own domain and your own server? If it is, that's WordPress.org because you have to build it yourself. If it's hosted for free and it's on WordPress.com server, then that's the WordPress.com style. But they're both the same WordPress system. So here are the pros and cons of each, and these are outlined here. They actually give a pretty good benefits and cons. So you see, here's the benefits. It's free. You can read all these yourself, basically. But one main benefit I also want to, benefit. Let's go to the cons. That's what really matters. Right here on the WordPress.com cons, here's the two kickers that kind of make it impossible. And I'm going to give you my recommendations to you as an agent on which one you should be doing and so forth. Alright, so here's the two kickers. You can't hack the PHP code behind your blog, and then you can't upload plugins. This is basically a kill-off if you, as an agent, are saying, I want to build a website system, and you actually want to make this your main marketing engine. This isn't just something that you're building for the sake of just testing and getting used to blogging, but you really want to make a real business out of it. Which means, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have a custom, not a custom design, but you're going to have to be able to modify your design to have lead generation buttons put in right places. You're going to need to put plugins. And what are plugins? I'll show you that right now. Plugins are basically marketing tools. On a lot of the demos I do, here I'm going to log into one of our demo accounts admin panel to show you what plugins are. But basically, back to the point while that's loading, you can't edit the actual core system, which means you can't add your own custom designing to it. And most of the time you might want to add, lead generation buttons like I was saying, or let's say there's a great real free tool that comes out from WordPress. Like, for example, there's tools on how to integrate Google Analytics. I've done tutorials on these all day and everything. I have loads of them. With the WordPress.com site, you can't upload these free tools. They don't let you. That's what plugins are. So to answer your question, what are plugins? Plugins are basically tools that are given for free by the WordPress community for you to put on your site that make it have new features. On WordPress.com, you can't upload those. So that right there, realistically, is more than enough reasons to say not to use WordPress.com if you're serious about making your website system your final catch-all, your main website system for the rest of your business and so forth. If you're new and you want to just first understand what is blogging, what is this, you want to first figure out some technical how-tos, then definitely sign up on the free one .com. But only do the WordPress, only get off of the free.com when you actually want to jump on to a real business infrastructure that you're going to have to uniquely be able to modify and add things, add tools, and so forth. So real quick, I'll show you the plugins at the end just to make the main point clear. Now, if you look at the .org and the .com, the .org benefits, obviously you could upload your own themes, you could upload your own plugins and themes, same thing, and you could change the code, which means you have full control of your site. With WordPress.com, you don't have full control of your site, plain and simple. Now, the other item, this is another kill-off, in my opinion, on why you shouldn't use WordPress.com, is because you technically don't own the site. And if you're serious about making your website your blogging infrastructure and getting ranked in Google, then you need to own your site. You can't do that with the free WordPress.com site. I mean, you technically can, but it's like you're basically buying a property on leased land, and that's not really the smartest thing. Think about if you're an investor. Is that what you want to do? Heck no. So treat your business the same way. WordPress.com means that they own it. They have control over your domain. You don't want that. You want control if you're serious. So with WordPress.org, you're the controller of your domain because it's on your own system. It's everything you do. That's how we build our client sites, on WordPress.org systems. And you could add themes. You could add plugins. We actually set up all of your sites with plugins and so forth, all that items. And this isn't a sales thing. This is more just to make the point clear. Now, here are the cons, and this makes sense on your end. For all you agents trying to figure this out on your own and get your sites built on your own, which is totally fine. The cons of WordPress.org is simply the know-how. You have to know how to integrate plugins, meaning if you see a great new marketing tool, although they're easy, you have to learn how do I integrate it. So there's the first, what do I do, how do I set up my site, and then secondly, there is always going to be money involved. You're going to have to pay somebody, whether it's you doing it on your own and you go into GoDaddy and paying them directly for hosting and you're just going to build your site, you're still paying them. Or if you're coming to a place like us where you're going to pay us to set up your entire system and we build it with the plugins, with the proper theme and everything, and we design it, you're going to pay us for the service of doing that. But then basically it's just the choice, and that's what I keep coming back to. When you're serious about doing your blogging, when you're serious about making your website your main marketing infrastructure, then WordPress.org for sure takes the cakes, and that's going to require an investment out of your business. So that's the main con with the WordPress.org, is just the time it'll take you to figure everything out. It has to be measured with the time it would take you just to pay someone to build it, or it's going to be measured against getting a free one in which you don't own the site and you can't even upload plugins or themes or anything. All right. So in a nutshell, that's everything. You could read the rest. They're both the same thing. I hope this makes sense. This video went way longer than I was expecting, like they all do. But basically, they're the same thing. The question you need to ask yourself is the following. Why am I getting into blogging? Is it just so you can start learning everything and figuring out? If it is, go to WordPress.com for sure. You could get your feet wet really good. You could learn how to use it. You could get used to it. The moment you say, I want to start treating online marketing like a real business, and you want to have your website, your brand, have a real destination, then you need to get off of WordPress.com. They own your content in that instance. You can't upload plugins, which is going to kill you in trying to add awesome tools to your site. You can't modify your theme, which means you can't customize how it's going to look, having certain buttons put in right places. You can't modify a lot of that. You could modify a little bit of the designing, but I mean like the core code functionality. You can't modify that. And basically, you're buying a property on leased land, which is the biggest issue if you're serious about making a business out of your website. So .coms aren't good if you're someone that says, I want to now start focusing on making a real infrastructure. .orgs are really great for doing that. So that's really the main benefit of the .orgs. It's the site that you could do to add all the tools to customize your programming and your designing. And if you want to know how to do it yourself, then the learning curve is pretty easy. I mean, I give tutorials out all the time on how to do it yourself, but it's obviously the only negative is time. So figure it out for yourself. Where does it fit in your business? I hope that answers the question finally, what the difference is between the two. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me on our fan page at facebook.com/Tizish, and let me know for any clarifying questions. I'd love to help you on that. Alrighty? Take care.